Hello my dear fun beings, hope you're all doing great. In today's video, we'll be seeing the diagrammatic representation of data. So before seeing the diagrammatic representation, we need to know what is a data. A data is regarded as a collection of quantitative or qualitative information. Usually, raw data are represented in the form of tables or numbers. So, why do we need to represent data diagrammatically? So tell me guys, which one will you prefer? This kind of raw information or this kind of data representation in form of diagrams? It is obvious that people will be picking this type. It's because this is more appealing to the eyes and also easy to understand. Here we'll have to sit and read each and every line in order to process this information. But this can be understood just by a glance. There are many different types of diagrammatic representation of data. So let us see what they are. The most common types of diagrams are line diagram, bar diagram, and pie diagram. The bar diagram is further of four types, which is simple bar, divided bar, percentage bar, and multiple bar. So let us see all of these one by one. So first is the line diagram. The simplest way of representing a data is the line diagram. The data is represented in the form of straight lines. So here the variable is taken in the x-axis and the frequencies are taken in the y-axis. So I'll be sharing examples for each of these diagrams so that the understanding is much more easier. So the first example is the frequency distribution of different types of flowers in a garden is given below. Represent this data in the form of a line diagram. So it's clearly stated in the question itself that we need to draw a line diagram. So we have this table. So either you can represent this as rose, sunflower, marigold in the x-axis, or you can number them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let us see the line diagram. This is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. So in the x-axis, we take the different types of flowers, and in the y-axis, we take their frequencies. And for the first one, it was 53, so somewhere over here. The second one was 35, so somewhere over here between 30 and 40. And the third one is 46, so it is over here between 40 to 50. And hibiscus is 33, so that is also somewhere between 30 to 40, but somewhere less than 35. And the last one is 25, so this is exactly in between 20 and 30. So these lines represent variation in the different number of flowers. So this I've just added extra, just let's just ignore that. Moving ahead, let us see what are the bar diagrams. So bar diagram are the ones that are most commonly used, and the length of the bar represents the frequency. So over here the width does not matter, but we have certain points that we need to remember while drawing the bar diagram. The width of all the bars should be uniform, and the gap between each bar should be uniform, and the bars can be horizontal or vertical, but mostly vertical bars are preferred. So let us see the simple bar diagram first. Simple bar diagram is used to represent a single variable, and it can be used in place of the line diagram. So we will take the same example. The frequency distribution of different type of flowers is given, and we need to provide a bar diagram. So let us go down and check out the simple bar diagram. So again over here, the x-axis has the details regarding the different types of the flowers, whereas the y-axis represents the number of flowers, that is the frequency. So over here, again just ignore this. The bar diagram representing the variation in the number of different flowers. So next let's move ahead with the divided bar diagram. A divided bar diagram is used when we have frequency of different components of one single variable. So here the question says, given below is the frequency of sales of 5 different types of pizzas on 3 different days. So here we have 2 different variables and we need to represent the given data in the form of a divided bar diagram. So over here we have 3 days rather than 1, and also we have 4 types. So for this what we need to do is, first we need to calculate the total. So we need to draw another table which has the total, and then we will be drawing the diagram. So for this, in the x-axis we will be taking the days, and in the y-axis we will be taking the sales, which is the frequency. Always remember, the frequency should be taken in the y-axis. Only then our diagram will be vertically upright. So what we are going to do here is, first we need to mark the total. The total is 167 for the day 1. So we will mark 167 here. After that, what we do is, for the first pizza type, that is margherita, it was 53. So 53 we will mark and we'll shade that as one color representing margherita. Then the next one is cheese burst, which is 35. So what you do is you add 53 and 35 and then represent that over here. Similarly, for the third one, you add 53, 35 and the next one, that is 46, and then you mark it over here. And the last one will be the total of all of these, which is 167. So that will be the fourth one. Okay, so let us see for day 2 also. So for the day 2, the total is 122. So first we'll mark 122 over here and draw the bar. And inside the bar, the first set will be margherita, which is 22. So we'll mark it at 22. And then we will go for 36. So adding up 22 and 36, it's 58. So we'll mark it at 58. And then we will add the third one, which is 54, and mark that as well. After marking all of this, we will go over here for the last one, which we don't need to mark because we have already marked 122 in the beginning. So we just have to shade this. So the third one also we have to draw in the same way. Next, let's go down to percentage bar diagram. So the percentage bar is similar to the divided bar, but here all the bars are kept of equal length, which is equal to 100. So percentage means 100. So we convert all the frequencies to their percentages and sum them up to 100. With the same example, let us go ahead and mark the percentage bar diagram. Here, apart from calculating the total, the other thing that we need to calculate is the percentage. I'll just show you an example for the first day. Over here, the percentage of sales of margherita on day 1 is, we'll take this 53 divided by the total and multiply it by 100. So we get this 31.737. So it is 7365. We round it up to 3 decimal points. And the percentage of cheese burst on day 1 is this 35 divided by the total into 100, and we get this 20.958. So like this we calculate for all of these, and we have to now represent only these percentages in our bar diagram. So going forward, let us see how the diagram looks. So here you can see all these bars are of equal length, equal width. So the only bar diagram which has equal length and equal width and also equal gap is the percentage bar diagram. This is a very simple question, yet sometimes we fail to answer it. So here again, x-axis we take the days and y-axis we take the frequencies. So over here we mark all these to 100, and in the first one, on day 1, we have the first one at 31.737. So we mark that first, 31.737. Then we add this 20%, 20.958% to it, and we mark that over here. Then we add 27.549 to this total and we mark it here. And finally, we add this to get it to 100. Always make sure after converting all of these, just add these four together to find out if they are equating to 100. So the similar pattern, day 2 and day 3 are also drawn. So let's move ahead to the multiple bar diagram. Multiple bar diagram are used for comparing two variables and the bars are placed side by side. So we are going to take the same example again. We don't need to calculate any total for this and directly we can draw the multiple bar diagram. You just have to mark the x-axis with the days, the y-axis with the frequencies, and for the day 1 you need to represent all the four bars sticking to each other, and for the day 2 also it is similar, for day 3 also it is similar. Now let's move on to pie diagram. So pie diagram is used to represent qualitative characters in quantitative measures, and the frequencies are shown by means of sectors of a circle. So sectors are the part of the whole circle. Okay, so the angles of each sector of this circle are proportional to the respective frequency. So let us see an example. So here, since Dhoni is in trending, we have also picked up Dhoni's matches. So we are going to draw a pie diagram representing the number of matches played by MS Dhoni in different formats. So all these formats are given below: tests, ODIs, T20 internationals, T20s, first classes, list A's. So these are the number of matches that Dhoni has played. So what we will be doing is, we have to first calculate the total of all of these. So the total for all of this is 1409. Okay, so how to calculate these degrees is that using a similar formula that we used for the percentage. So degrees representing tests is 90 divided by 1409 into 360. You get this 22.995 degrees. Okay, that is what I have marked here. Similarly, for ODIs, if we calculate 350 divided by 1409 into 360, we get 89.425. So like this, we have calculated the degrees for all of these formats. So how do we draw a pie diagram? First, we need to draw a circle and we need to mark its radius like this. Then what we do is we place our protractor at the position exactly where the center of the circle lies, and such that this line merges with the radius, and then we calculate the degrees. So the first one is 22.995. So we calculate degrees from here. This is 10, this is 20, and this is 22. So over here the red dot represents 22.995. Now what we do is we have to draw a line from the center connecting to the circumference through this point. So that is the point which represents our first format, which is test. Next, what we need to do is we have to place the protractor such that this line in the protractor aligns to this newly drawn line. And now the next number is 89 point something. So 89 point something is close to 90. So over here we will be marking the next line. This represents the ODI. Okay. So this way, next we will place the protractor over here on this green line, and similarly we will draw the whole pie diagram. Once we finish the diagram, it will look something like this. So here you can see that the red color represents test, the green color represents ODI, the purple color represents T20 internationals, this skin color represents T20s, yellow represents first class, and blue represents list A's. So like this, we can represent the number of matches played by MS Dhoni in different formats of cricket in the form of a pie diagram. So moving ahead, we need to see what are the significance of diagrammatic representation. The significance include the main thing that it is more attractive than the raw data, and it is easy to simplify the complexity of the data, and it aids in comparison. All of these that I have shown you above, all these diagrams are universal, and they give more information compared to just reading the data, because while reading the raw data we might miss on some things, and also it saves time and labor for the readers. So limitations of diagrammatic representation include that they show only approximate values, and because of that they can only be used for comparative studies and cannot be analyzed further, and they are mostly used only by common men, but utility by an expert is very limited. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hope you really liked this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like button below and show some love. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn it gray, and click the bell icon next to it to be the first one to get your concept right. Let's meet up in another beautiful video. Until then, bye bye.